Daytona. Everybody ready, set, go. Rev it up and let's roll. There's a party in the fast lane. Got my hands flying. Heartbeat loud as the thunder rolls. Riding in on the stampede of lightning. I'm bringing back the sunshine. Bringing back the sunshine. Baby, it's about time. Oh, bring it back. Oh,
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kansas City for race number 15 of 18. It's the Hollywood Casino 400 here at Kansas Speedway. We had a thriller of a race last time we were here. A little bit of wrecks, a little bit of action, but now we are here for race 15. I'm in the booth alongside Dominic, Anthony, and Tommy McIntyre. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Should be a very entertaining race. The mile and a halfs always deliver in LIMECAR.
I'm just happy to be here.
You don't sound very happy.
Is that better now that I've laughed? Does that fill you with confidence, Mr. Dominic? Anthony?
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, hopefully you guys can have something to smile about. I know Dominic has something to smile about with two of his cars on the front row, but we'll get into recapping last week. Robbie Gordoff breaks through, finally wins his first race with a Grand Slam victory at CTMP in the Husky Chocolate Chevrolet. Got it done for McIntyre and his squad with Marnell. On the other end of the spectrum for the Chevy, Jordan Madron has had multiple run-ins in the last few races. The garage growing quite weary and not exactly happy with the 68. Hopefully he can keep his nose clean this weekend. And Aris Yuko won here last season, currently 4th in points, looking for his 3rd win of the season to try and close the gap on the top 3 drivers in points, all 3 of those being CRT drivers from Marnell and his squadron. Mr. McIntyre, you must be pretty happy seeing that 1, 2, 3, but that points gap has slowly but surely gotten a little bit tighter as the race has gone on.
Yeah, it's nice seeing the boys out front, but we had kind of had amassed a pretty substantial lead with Parnell and Lamar early doors, and since then they've kind of been getting chipped away at by the rest of the field, like you say, but nice to see that the person doing the most chipping is one of our own, so that's a positive at least.
Absolutely. Gordoff with his breakthrough win, finally getting it done. We have 67 laps around this intermediate oval. Dominic, what are our keys for the race?
Yeah, we should have a 24 to 28 lap fuel run. Tires aren't going to matter much, especially compared to some of the tire eaters that we've seen in previous weeks. 4 tires are going to prevail over 2 and 0 on the short run, but it'll even out over a full fuel run, so it should be a huge deal. Like you said, 67 laps around a 1.5 mile track, 17 to 20 degrees of banking, variable banking here, kind of a unique aspect of Kansas. And our defending winner of this race, as you said, is Aris Yuko.
Yuko's going to roll off 22nd. A lot of our championship contenders starting kind of further in the back of the field, but we're going to head to our starting lineup. Row 1, Henry Guo and Logan Williams to DAC Racing sweep. Row number 2, Chase Gibbons and Strokey Banger. Row 3 is going to see Desquarius Greenhouse Jr. and Ethan Harrison. Row 4, Garrett Lamar and Ryan Barone. Row 5, once again, a solid qualifying result for Ricardo Garcia sitting alongside Jerry Chen. Hopefully the 41 can actually finish in the top 20 this week. Marnell and Haley in row 6. Row 7 is the 6 of Ian McDaniel and the 27 of Richard Fridge. Santiago Nicholas, Zachary Ponce make up row number 8. Row 9, Joe Kraus and Christian Viscani. Row number 10 sees Jeremy Mead and last week's winner Robbie Gordoff as the field rolls off. Row 11, Alexander Rowe, and last year's winner, Eris Yuko. Two very good intermediate drivers starting in the middle of the field. Grayson Collins, Matthew Faston, Row 12, Row 13, Kaz Gralla, and Michael Guthrie. 67 of Sean McKean makes up row 14 alongside the 69 of Anthony Foss. Very nice looking row right there. The 68 just behind them and alongside Chris Lilly. Kyle Mabey, Stephen Cologne in row 16. Row 17 is going to move forward. See Aaron Giffen and Tyler Cook. Cook is in the top 10 in points, looking for another strong but quiet run. Justin Haley, Blake Walker make up row 18. Row 19, Riley Gorse and Nathan Stapleton. Back of the field now, Reed Simpson, Darlington winner, row 20, alongside Braden Sigafus, and rounding out the field, two Lamar Race Shops cars, Carson Green, Cam Arrow. 42 cars here for 67, certainly not a funny number at all, laps here around Kansas Speedway, mile-and-a-half track. Here we go. Whoa, Williams racing off into turn number 1, 47 with a great jump already as Chase Gibbons is going to try to follow suit underneath, already 3 wide.
Yeah, already fanning out pretty wide here. We saw some pretty gnarly wrecks at Kansas last season, so hopefully we don't recreate that tonight, but they're already getting pretty aggressive.
That's Marnell pushing the 13 down to the bottom lane. The two CRT front runners both in points and in the field. Moving forwards, almost 4 wide. We got a squeeze in the back. That's the 26. Back up into the field. It looks like we've got a yellow already, guys. That's the 30.
Commentator dumb.
Yeah, I guess I should have kept my mouth shut, but that's what you get for qualifying deep in the field.
Yellow's going to come out. We're going to race back to the line. And that was last week's winner, the 33 of Robbie Gordoff, getting heavy front-end damage. Guo's going to lead us back. And gentlemen, let's hope it's not another one of those nights. As we lap 3 of 67. Let's take a look at this.
An impeccable angle right there. I could see it all.
Camera crew doing a great job here. Looks like we got the Fox crew out tonight.
Yeah, just kind of a 4 wide squeeze there off turn 4. Not sure anyone did anything hugely wrong, but you just run out of space and way too early to be that many wide.
Yeah, it's not really anything Visconti could do considering he had a car to his inside, but I guess like you said, the one criticism he could have with his over-aggressive code being on lap 1. Small amount of arc breaks from Robbie, but well, there's a little bit more of it there, but yeah, not really too much he can do when there's cars flying in every direction towards him.
That front stretch has claimed a number, turn 4 in the front stretch last season claimed a number of victims, as we saw throughout the race. We see the entire field come down pit road, guys, a little bit early, I would say, to try and split this race into only one more stop. I think you're going to have to stop twice, even with an early round of pit stops.
Yeah, the good thing is everyone's pitting here, so nobody's going to really single themselves out on a bad strategy, but like you mentioned, they are probably still going to have to pit 2 more times after this.
The assumption from some could be that there'll be more yellow flags, so they might be able to stretch it out, but yeah, interesting that all teams had this same mindset, so we'll be interested to see what develops from here now, if there is more strategy or variety, or if there's a pretty track and set plan from the field.
Although I will say we did see a variance in 2-tire and 4-tire stops. The 14, 47, 17, they all took 2 tires and fuel off and away they went, while the rest of the field took 4 tires, and obviously the guys on the back took damage repair. So this shook up the field a little bit, but we're going to still see relatively the same top 10 that we saw to start the race, except for one notable exception, Chase Gibbons, now in the lead for our restart on lap 7. Waiting for the flag from the flag man. Off and away they go. Now green flag back out. Green flag back out. Chase Gibbons, the Johnson City, Tennessee resident, off and away he goes with a hungry horde of 2 DAF cars and 2 CRT cars. That's Marnell and Lamar already on the hunt.
Yeah, it looks like we haven't learned much from the initial start. Still already fanning out 3 wide. before we even get to turn 1, but it looks like they're going to make it work a little bit better this time.
The run from Ian McDaniel into turns 3 and 4. The 6 is going to move into 4th place here on lap 8.
And as we mentioned in our pre-race notes, early in the run here on a short run is when the 4 tires are going to make their biggest advancements. As we get deeper into the run, it'll level out and the pace will start to become more equal.
Six did take 4 tires on the pit cycle, so we'll take keep a close eye out for Ian McDaniel of Lexington, North Carolina, on lap 9 of 67. Already 3 wide in the back as the 13 has slipped a little bit from the opening run. It looks like they are searching for grip. '97 to Jeremy Mead, another Bones Motorsports car. We've seen the Fords be particularly fast as the 17. Big wiggle. Almost takes Logan Williams with him. The 2 veterans keep it clean on lap 10. '13 searching for grip. I feel like Lamar has just fell backwards after that initial launch on the restart. It looks like he's fallen back about 8 to 10 spots already since the initial restart green flag.
Yeah, he looks like he was pretty eager to get a move on there when the green flag came out, but he's just done nothing but go backwards since, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think he might be a little bit more comfortable on the bottom than on the top, so yeah, I think maybe he just got himself caught out there on the outside and needs to shuffle himself back down to the inside where he seems more comfortable.
Gordoff fixed up his damage, fixed up the nose, 4 fresh tires, sitting here in 40th place. A lot of work to do for the St. Louis, Missouri resident. A little bit of a second home track for Gordoff, although on the other side of the state for him. 33, picking him off one by one. He's still got a long race to go, guys. It's about 50 laps and a few pit cycles for that 33 to get some points back and try to make it a solid point stay.
Yeah, and if he can't start making up positions naturally, I'm sure he'll be hoping for another race of attrition like we had last year to pick off some cars and give him a few points, because as we talked about in pre-race, he's right there in that title fight, especially after his win at CTMP last week. So not the start that he was looking for by any means.
As it looks like we got a battle for the lead here, guys. Ian McDaniel putting a fight to Henry Guo here. The 2 veterans for the all 4 seasons of LIMECAR. Ian McDaniel searching for the lead. I believe this will be the first time the 6 has taken the lead on a non-super speedway this season. Ian McDaniel leading on lap 14 to 67, searching for his first win since season 2. Both Motorsports driver hasn't had the best go of really anything. Last season wasn't the greatest for him. Ran up front, got caught up in some tracks plenty of times. And now this season, same thing once again. They've had speed, but they haven't been 4 wide back in the back of the pack. That's for 20th or 28th.
Yeah, talking about Ian McDaniel, he's really had a rough go of it since they switched to Ford from Dodge, which is odd because his teammates haven't really. I mean, Zachary Ponce won a race last season. Back when Hunter Collier was there, he won a race last season. So it's not like the team as a whole is struggling, but it just seems like Ian hasn't been able to put it together himself.
A little bit of a Brad Keselowski route for him in the 6. Naturally so, I would say, picking the 6 car. But we've seen his teammates kind of get used to the Ford and get used to this car more so than Ian, albeit with a solid amount of upfront pace and upfront starts for the 6. He just hasn't been able to complete races. As we see the 67 of Sean McKean's, he restarted in 10th place on the restart. We didn't even mention that. He is all the way back down to last. Quote, "We have a problem," from the radio of the Chances Are Sports Bar Motorsports LLC hitbox.
Yeah, talking to Sean McKean and Bones Motorsports, while we're on the topic of both of them, that's a Bones Motorsports satellite car, and they have been, to put it bluntly, very, very bad this season, which is not what I expected out of a veteran like Sean McKean, who's won races and even contended for a championship in the past. So I'm sure it's been tougher than they were expecting on that front.
Henry Guo retakes the lead from Ian McDaniel. Looks like we're going to see a little bit of battle of veterans up front. 3 wide for Gordoff, who is, put it lightly, trying to make the most of these fresh tires and get around some of the slower traffic. Of these guys back here, he's certainly got one of the better cars, although seeing the 2 Aaron Giffen racing cars back in this backpack is a little bit of a surprise to me. Joe Kraus, Aaron Giffen haven't exactly shown the speed for being a 4-car operation, sizing down to 2, and seemingly having a solid engine advantage, but they just have been well off the pace at some races, more so than others.
Yeah, and the odd thing is they seem to have their pace mostly at 1.5 miles like this one. I mean, Joe Kraus had the best run of his career, hit the Cook 600 earlier this season. Aaron Giffen was won at Atlanta before, so they have the speed at 1.5 miles, but it's not shown up tonight.
54 of Yuko currently sitting about mid-pack, I would say. He's got to try to keep moving forwards in 17th place. Needs consistency. He's got 2 wins on the year. Looking for his 3rd win, although with quite a healthy batch of contenders in front of him, including Chase Gibbons and Quentin Haley. He's got his work cut out for him to try and gain some points on the front runners. Chase Gibbons took 2 tires, gamble paying off so far. It looks like it's to the point where the tires are going to start leveling out here. It took a little bit of a adjustment on that pit cycle. They're hoping that the car frees up a little more as the run continues on. If not, I'd say the next pit cycle is going to come up pretty soon in the next 6 to 10 laps, so they'll be able to put a wedger around in it if needed.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if this green flag run persists up until that pit stop window. We don't see green flag pit stops terribly often in LIMECAR. I mean, it's not too uncommon, but it's not the norm either, so be a little bit of a different element to add to this race.
On board with Aquarius Greenhouse Jr. moving up from 5th place to 4th, trying to get around this Quentin Haley team. Will go on board with 2. Has had a pretty strong run this season, very quiet. If you're a betting man and you're looking for someone to perhaps break their winless streak, as the 23 of Quentin Haley, or of not Quentin Haley, that's Christopher Marnell, slides back a little bit on that top lane. If you're looking for someone to possibly break their winless streak or get their first win in LIMECAR, all the odds have probably shifted to that 52 car, who has had the last 3 races, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, gentlemen, 3rd place, 5th place, and 5th place. Very consistent run over the last few races for the 52 car.
Yeah, he had a lot of pace here last season, too. He was up front for quite a bit of the race before falling victim to one of those really monstrous crashes that we talked about earlier. So he can get it done on Kansas, and he's been on a hot streak recently, so I wouldn't count him out for sure.
Another driver to keep your eye on, Alexander Rowe. Since returning to the series, the 37 has kind of had an up and down, tumultuous little go of it, but it seems now towards the second half of the season, both him and Logan Williams, Dominic, I'm sure you can speak on this a little more, they have started to click things off, try to get some good runs going. We'll exclude CTMP for Alexander Rowe. Meanwhile, the 13 still married back in about 20th place after falling down a few spots. But 37 moving headway into the top 5.
Yeah, consistency has definitely been our issue at DAF Racing this season. It seems like we always have 1, maybe 2 cars with good speed on any given weekend, but it just fluctuates too much from car to car, and we just haven't been able to string any really good runs together for more than a couple weeks at a time. So Henry has really been the shining light this season in terms of being the closest to that. He's the highest in points, and he's on a pretty good streak of top 10s and top 15s. It's just a couple of really bad finishes that are weighing him down in the standings. But definitely something that we're looking to change next year and get back to our winning ways from the first 3 seasons.
I'd say it irks you a little bit sitting next to Mr. McIntyre in the booth and seeing the CRT cars 1, 2, 3 in the point standings. There's still quite a few races to go, although I would say it'd be a hell of a fight from Henry to try and climb back up to where the CRT cars are, but I'm sure, from my perspective at least, it'd be wonderful to see the DAF Racing CRT little battle up front in the points once again.
Well, it's all
Yeah, if anyone's going to do it for us, it'll be Henry, but I'm not exactly holding my breath. I think Chris and his team have done a really good job this season.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, to be fair, if there is any way to do it, Henry's doing the best job he possibly can right now by being out front leading pretty dominantly. So, if you can string a few more results like this together, you'll be laughing. But yeah, like you say, it has kind of fluctuated from car to car rather than it being all Henry, even if he has been the shining light. But yeah, if he gets a few more results like this going, then there's there's every chance that he can get back into the fight. Although I wouldn't mind a few more wins for my own team, being a little bit biased.
Man, I just want one this year. You think you've had enough? There's enough to go around, man.
I'm greedy, man. I'm greedy.
Well, we did see last year, the 84 bounces off the 4, and then, that's all the 84 and the 88 and the 13 running into each other. We stay green as the leaders come down pit road. No yellow so far, guys. Let's take a look at this bizarre little incident.
I am floored that they were able to save that, relatively speaking, anyway.
The thing that floors me the most is the 84 trying to get down onto pit road. That's absolutely suicidal.
Oh man, there's more. The 71's going all the way around, and the 42 through the grass. We didn't see that initially, but that is quite the non-call by the officials there. Although we had some of those at Darlington as well, so I guess it's not too shocking.
We stay green as this is the race off pit road for the first group. We stay practically the same running order. The 47, 6, 17 came in 1, 2, 3. They exit 1, 2, 3. Jerry Chen and the 14 of Chase Gibbons are the two lone drivers left on pit road. They are going to finally come down pit road. I wouldn't say finally, although, I mean, the pit cycle just opened. We had a little bit of an incident during it, and it looks like the pit window is closing. 37 of Rowe will lead this group of cars off of pit road, which pretty much is the entire field. It looks like the 23 of Marnell had a bit of a slow stop. Everybody took 2 tires. Looks like the 23 took 4. As here's the 47 coming around to try and pass the 37. This will be for the de facto lead. Maybe gets it done. The 2 DAF Racing teammates side by side. 47 takes the lead away at 37, lets him have it.
Yeah, and if anything, it looks like the overcut kind of worked there a little bit. I mean, the 37 definitely wasn't second when they came in, so did get him the lead, but it worked out to gain him some track position for sure.
Yeah, nice for you boys there having 2 cars together there, so you've got a bit of a buffer now to Ian in 3rd place now as opposed to being in 2nd.
And Logan Williams is right there with them as well. So we'll see how these guys get up to speed. The 54, that's big trouble for the 54. They've got an issue under the hood. They're going to stay down pit road for an extended period of time. Not good for the reigning winner. The 13 of Lamar had to take extended repairs after that incident that almost took him out. Lucky that the 13 didn't get caught up in the wreck, but unfortunately, he will go 1 lap down here. Not on pace, but after that incident. Still no yellows. We're still under green flag running here on lap 36 of 67, as McDaniel has gotten by the 37, who took a little bit of extra time to get back going up to speed, and now he is off and away, moving into 3rd place, jumping up a few positions after that run. Here's 4th and 5th, that's Madron and Williams. 6th place, Desquarius Greenhouse Jr., and then 7th place is Justin Haley. A bit of a quiet run for the 99. 8th place, that is Michael Guthrie. 9th place is the 53 of Jerry Chen. And then the 60 of Riley Gorse has moved his way up from 37th on the starting grid up to 10th place.
Yeah, and to go back to Garrett Lamar there, if you're Robbie Gordoff, I'm sure you don't want to see your teammates have issues or root for that to happen, but in terms of the championship, looking at it from that perspective, that's another contender that is going to be finishing pretty low today and not getting a ton of points. So it helps Gordoff's situation with him being involved in that early crash. Obviously, Marnell is still going to be streaking away versus both of them, but it could be worse for Robbie Gordoff, so that's a little bit of a help for him. But sure, he was hoping for a lot better regardless.
Yeah, I'm going to that point as well. Like, obviously from Marnell's perspective as well, like, he wants all 4 of his cars to do as well as possible, right? So it sucks for him seeing Gordoff and Garrett having issues today. But at the same time, from a selfish perspective in terms of the championship battle, it does him the world of good. So it's an interesting sort of mindset that he has to have when it comes to that. Whether do you want all 4 cars doing well and potentially hurting your own championship battle, or do you want all your cars doing well and guaranteeing that somebody's going to be in the fight?
I will say, though, Marnell currently sitting in 29th place after that 4-tire stop and long pit stop. Ian McDaniel lunging for the lead here on lap 40. He's going to go ahead and take it from Henry Guo. I will say, to add on to your point, the 33 has brought his day to the garage. Engine troubles after that damaged radiator. They are packing the car up and saying we're all done today to not damage the motor anymore. So not good for the winner of last week, who was hoping for anything better than a last place finish, but 3 points on the board for the 33 will be all that he will need.
That's a tough break right there, but it's a strong group of guys. There are only 33 teams, so fingers crossed they'll be back on song next week, and they won't let this dent the momentum that they got from last weekend's win.
We'll go on board with Jordan Madrid here, sitting in 5th place, closing in on Square Greenhouse Jr. I would say the people that are benefiting the most from our points leaders having issues with Marnell coming out for 13 and I believe 40th or 41st, and the 33 in 42nd. This is doing a world of good for Henry Guo to Square Greenhouse Jr. And it would have been Eris Yuko, but he is currently 5 laps down in 41st. So all of the points leaders, really, except for Greenhouse and Guo, having some flavor of issue, although I wouldn't say Marnell has an issue. It's more so mired back in the pack and trying to work their way forwards. We'll keep an eye on the 23 later throughout the day. Lap 44, 67, it's McDaniel, Rowe, and Guo, a classic 4-season veteran battle up front, with the 37 trying to hunt down the 6 cars. 47 has slipped from 1st to 3rd over the last few laps. Little battle between the 42 and 88, back towards 28th here. I'd say this is closer towards 35th. My apologies, because there's the 33 and the 3 and the 67. A 3 with no rear end whatsoever. 97 and 60. 2 other Bones Motorsports cars, they've had a pretty strong day today. 10th and 11th for the Fords out of Lexington, North Carolina.
Yeah, pretty consistent run for Bones. All 4 of their cars are not doing terrible today, so I'd say probably the strongest performance of the season for them across the board. We'll see if they can close it out here with the 6 car.
51 of Guthrie sliding back to succumb to positions to those 2 Fords. Guthrie, one of the elder statesmen in the field. Not as great of a run as he had last season, but nonetheless still a pretty good season so far for Guthrie. No wins yet. 2 wins last season, as well as the in-season tournament win. But we can't always be perfect. Logan Williams sitting there in about 6th place. 51 trying to go back at Jeremy Mead. Not going to get it done. 97 Sharpie car. I mean, Mead, like the 2 rookies at Bones Motorsports, in addition to Zachary Ponce in the 16, they just haven't been consistent, and that's really been the biggest thing of a lot of these guys throughout the field. Consistency has not been there, even throughout our highest running contenders in the point standings. I'd say the most consistent driver that we've had this season has been Marnell, Lamar, or even Desquarius Greenhouse Jr., but even then, Lamar, over the last few races, has just not been consistent at all.
Yeah, this is the kind of season where if anyone was able to put together a consistent run and limit the bad finishes, I feel like they'd probably be walking away with it right now, because even the top guys, the top 5 or 6 in points, really have had a lot of bad runs. So it's just kind of it's been a season of damage limitation for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, like Garrett's been caught up in some. Well, from my own perspective, I can only really talk about the top 3. Thankfully, I can talk about the top 3. But what you call it? Like Garrett has had like a couple of really bad finishes, getting caught up in incidents and stuff. Marnell's had a few days where he's just looked pretty slow, to be honest. It looks like this is going to be another one of them here today, where just kind of fallen off as the race has gone on. And for Gordoff, there's been a few times that he's had good pace, but like has had like a terrible qualifying session, or maybe a bad run on pit road or something like that takes him out of the equation. So yeah, like Dom was saying, and like you were saying yourself, like even these top guys that could be considered some of the more consistent throughout the field, in terms of being up towards the front, they've all been susceptible to having bad days. So yeah, it has kept the door open, statistically and mathematically, for a lot more drivers than maybe we expected to still have in the running for the championship at this stage in the season.
You told me after the Coke 600 that we would still have, entering today, 6 drivers mathematically eligible for the championship if the season was to be decided today. I would have said that's crazy, especially with the big points lead that Marnell and Lamar had. But now we see Madrid making a move on Logan Williams with the 52 just behind him. We've seen the proverbial door open to a lot more drivers than just the top 2 that have been in the headlines all throughout the season, and really the top 3. Gordoff has been in the headlines the entire season, whether he's wanted to be or not, with not being able to get a win under his belt, in his pocket, until last week. So those top 3 have been the drivers, rightfully so, that we've talked about almost all season, but that's not to discredit Santiago Nicholas, Desquarius Greenhouse Jr., Aris Yuko, all those guys, even Tyler Cook, have found their ways consistently moving closer and closer and closer to the front 3 in the point standings, to where we'll see how the race sorts itself out here with just under 15 laps to go, and I would assume another pit stop to go. Dom, do the math for me if you don't mind, but I believe we'll be coming up on a pit stop here quite soon. These guys last pitted on lap 32.
If you really wanted to try to stretch it, you might be able to, but you would have had to have been saving from the start of the run. So they're almost certainly going to be pitting again here for sure.
Yeah. So depending on how this race ends up, at the very least, with Gordoff and Lamar and Yuko being trapped 40th, 41st, and 42nd, speaking right now, these point standings could easily be flipped on top of their head as we speak.
Yeah, and Marnell isn't even.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, Marnell isn't even going to take full advantage. Like you're saying, he's around kind of the bottom end of the top 30. So even for his sake, like he's not even going to jump out to having a massive lead. So it's really going to be those guys in kind of the 4 to kind of 8 bracket that are really going to take the most advantage out of this.
The point I was going to make before I rudely cut you off by accident is Guo is making a big run to the 6th, not going to be able to get it done. That was the 16 that we saw of Zachary Pons sitting in 15th place. So all Bones Motorsports cars in the top 15, all DAF Racing cars in the top 20. So good runs for those two teams, as Guo once again is going to try to look to the inside of McDaniel, try to get this track position before our pit cycles start. 6 shuts the door on him.
Yeah, and I know we've talked about it a few times already, but the 4-tire changes are going to matter more on the short run, and this is guaranteed to be a short run because we only have 10 laps to go, coming to 9. So by the time these guys pit and get off pit road, there's not going to be many laps left. So you could potentially stand to gain from a 4-tire change here and jump quite a few positions.
Haley from 9th comes down pit road. Now, what will be the benefit? Will you save time with the 2-tire stop to try to jump these guys, or will you have to go with the 4-tire stop? We'll see what these leaders do. The 6 and 47 come down pit road. Looks like they're the only ones coming down. Logan Williams and the 62 of Aaron Giffen, they come down pit road as well. The 83 of Santiago Nicholas will follow suit, as well as, looks like a bunch of others from the back half of the field. So we'll see what these guys do. The 37 of Rowe is now going to come down pit road. We will see.
Yeah, and remember, Rowe was able to gain on a slight overcut earlier, so we'll see if he can replicate that now. It's only 1 lap difference, but it might be enough.
Jerry Chen takes the lead. 4 tires and fuel for the leaders that originally pitted. That's the 6 and the 47 and the 17. They're going to peel out. Something to look for. Brayson Collins was in about 20th. He took no tires, just gassed it up and went. So we'll see what happens with him. He was the first driver to come down pit road. The entire rest of the field comes down pit road, sans Jerry Chen and Chase Gibbons. So there's a race off pit road that we see. The 6 with a pretty healthy gap. The 53 is now going to come down pit road. That's Jeremy Mead right behind him. We'll see what these guys do. Four tires for the 37 and a bit of a prolonged pit stop for Alexander Rowe. That's not ideal. Looks like they had to do something. I believe the tire rolled away from them. Madron is going to lead the group off from the second group of cars that pitted alongside the Sprayers Greenhouse Jr. The 6 and the 47 have found themselves once again. They're like drafting partners out here, but they're going to still be behind the 52 of Greenhouse, who appears to be, he looks like he took 2 tires. Rowe's going to come out in about 10th or 11th place. So as of right now, as it cycles out, it's the 52, the 6 and the 47 is the 53s coming off pit road. They took no tires, just fuel for the 53 and 97. Big strategy gamble. We'll see where they cycle out here. They're still in the lead as of right now.
Yeah, and I'd say the 6 and the 47 absolutely have the pace over the 52 today, but they have to go now. They do not have any time to waste, and they cannot waste time fighting each other either.
Chen is leading. Go ahead.
So saying 52, they're getting caught up in some of the no tire runners coming out of the pit lane, which is definitely going to help Jerry Chan. He's got Mead and in the 53 essentially Mead working as a blocker behind him essentially.
Madron is in second place right now. Here comes McDaniel. He passes 2 cars at once, basically. That's Mead and the 52 out of the way for the 4-tire guys that are charging through the field now. The 6 and the 47 have 4 laps to try to get to this 53. We'll see how big of a help these 4 tires really are on this short run. I mean, the 68 and 53 are on 30-plus lap old tires at this point, having gone balls to the wall through the entire race. I believe the 68 actually took 2 tires on the initial stop, so the 68 is working on practically the tires he started the race on the right side. The 53 out front, 3 laps to go for Jerry Chen, trying to hold on with the 37, who fell to 22nd after that pit cycle. 37, a day that was looking so promising, falling down the order. But that's not the story now. Here comes Ian McDaniel and Henry Guo. If you're Jerry Chen, you just gotta keep the wheel straight. Okay. Stay in front of these guys.
Yeah, and Jerry Chen has almost won at Kansas before. If you remember back to Season 2, one of his first starts, he had a very strong run, but I think it's going to be too little too late here.
No grip, slides up the track. He's going to lose first and second place It's the two drivers who have dominated the entire day with a mile and a half left to go. It's McDaniel versus Guo to decide the Hollywood Casino 400 final lap here at Kansas Speedway.
McDaniel's in a pretty good spot here, but Guo is the closest he's been since these green flag pit stops. Not out of the question.
Traffic control issue here as well.
I mean, you got to protect the bottom if you're the 6 here.
Joe Kraus not playing friendly. The 6 backs up the corner. The 47 has to lift. For the first time since Season 2, Ian McDaniel is going to win here at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, and I'd say that's a rare case of traffic actually helping the leader there, because it kind of choked up the whole 3-car train there and made a move pretty difficult for the 47.
Phenomenal run, phenomenal race, and I will agree. I would say if McDaniel had caught Joe Kraus at any other point in the racetrack, as we'll see the 6 slide to the grass to celebrate this win. If McDaniel had caught Kraus at any other point in the track, we would be seeing a photo finish or maybe even a Henry Guo win. But it's the 6 who gets it done, and I will say a big hats off and props to Henry Guo, who comes in second. He had a great run to end the season last year with 2 wins and an average finish of 3.5 over the last 4 races. Henry Guo making a strong charge up to the front over the last few races, as we see the points or the results scroll by. As I mentioned, Brayson Collins took that massive gamble. He ends up 10th place today. Big run for the 5. Probably their first strong run of Season 4 all season. Marnell ends up, I don't even know how he finished 35th for the 23. But just not the day that Marnell was expecting. And I think we'll see quite a big shakeup here in the points as we see Ricardo Garcia with another top 10 qualifying result end up with a finish outside the top 25. Not the day that the Lamar Race Shop cars really as a whole were looking for. As we'll take a look at our point standings. A change up front. Only 2 points separate them, but it's a new points leader, Desquarius Greenhouse Jr. From Marnell, Santiago Nicholas, Lamar, Gordoff, Yuko, Guo, Guthrie, and Cook. That dotted line represents the mathematical ability to be within the 60 points that a race will provide. So the top 9, as it stands, currently have a shot at the title. And guys, I mean, I expected a shakeup of the points, but not this heavy. That is insane how different the point standings look from before Kansas to after.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I mean, a lot of title contenders having really awful days today, and Henry Guo getting a strong second place finish. But even with that, it's still a mountain to climb. It looks like it's 28 points right now, which is about half a race. So it's certainly still on, especially with people like Desquarius Greenhouse up there. There's a lot of different guys that have a shot at this, which is not something I would have expected to be saying at the midpoint of the season. But I feel like it's anyone's game at this stage.
Absolutely. It was a very clean race from start to finish. We saw a phenomenal battle between the 6 and the 47 and the 37 as well. A shame that the 37 could not get the job done to stay in the top 5 at the end of the day. Just one of those things where pit stops matter, especially in these crucial moments. And we could see the championship race get decided on pit stops. While it may not be for the championship, it could be for the championship, because that was a big swing from 5th to 22nd, roughly, for the 37. That's a lot of points lost.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very bad time to have a bad pit stop. So I'd say that ship has probably sailed with 3 races left. But I think Henry's in with a shot, and we'll see what we can do here.
Absolutely. Any final words? Any final thoughts from you guys up in the booth. I think we had a pretty good race today, and I would say I like to say that it sets the picture for the final 3 races, but if anything, it's quite the opposite. I have no clue what the picture looks like, especially going into next week, which is Talladega.
Yeah, very entertaining race as the 1.5 milers usually are in LimeCar. I kind of feel like I'm cursed. I've been in the booth for 3 points races this season, and every time a different one of my drivers has come up excruciatingly short of the win. So maybe I should stop coming up here, or maybe I should because it's better than we normally do. But either way, very entertaining race, and we'll see how these next 3 play out.
Yeah, the field has definitely been shaken up. That's for sure. So there's an element of excitement heading into these final 3 races. But on my own personal level, I'm thoroughly depressed following that race. So Dominic, if you were questioning my happiness earlier, it's tanked through the floor during those previous 67 laps of racing. So yeah,
Well, you just tanked my happiness with that, so we're on equal footing now.
well, I'm glad.
Well, on that note, thank you guys so long, and we will see you next week for what should be, I don't know, maybe it'll be a good race. It's Talladega. It usually pisses someone off one way or the other. Our final open race of the season, so someone will be going home that usually doesn't watch. We'll see you guys next week for when Ricardo Garcia misses the field, Talladega.
Now recording.
Yay.